Monday morning to you. Thank you for joining us this morning. I'm Lily Taylor. John Mayer is off today. Before we get to our top stories, we're going to take a look at weather this morning. We had a very, I would say, of course, I don't know comparison to years past, but I would say it was a pretty solid Halloween weekend. I mean, I was sitting outside trying to hand out candy and I was like, wait, it's not even that cold.
A sad day for you, considering you
I got two.
You got two trick-or-treaters.
I got two, that's it.
Rosie and I went for an adventure in the neighborhood, and there was quite the amount of trick-or-treaters. And I think a lot of it was that weather. We kept it rather dry, a little bit cooler for some areas, but nonetheless, it still managed to stay, we stayed in the clear from the widespread chance for quite the accumulation, and all of that really making its way on in come Saturday and then scaling back throughout yesterday morning. But out the door through the remainder of the day, after about a tenth of accumulation this early morning, we are seeing a little bit of moisture managing to make its way on in, could be impacting the roadways at some points. And well, the impact, then the question is the visibility. As we see those low level clouds and very minimal moisture to hang around, we really aren't seeing the potential for quite the big push for some reduced visibility. In fact, majority of it a little bit farther to the south into that California and Oregon border out near the Rogue Valley. But temperatures, again, we are continuously hanging on tight to those 40s, near 50s, and we do manage to push into warmer territory through the remainder of the day, but also working our way in is going to be the return for wet weather, of course. So we'll track out just how much rainfall is expected to head our way coming up in just a bit.
LSB Live is sponsored by Alpha Towing and Recovery.
Thank you, Bree. Time for a look at our morning traffic watch. Our live shot buddy currently at the Beltline overpass on I-5 looking south. Roads are relatively dry so far, a little on the chilly side, LSB says, but other than that, looks like I would say light traffic on those roadways. We had some issues with fog a lot last week. Doesn't look like that's been an issue this morning. Looks like relatively clear skies. Other than that, we do see one minimum delay crash in Cottage Grove area on Oregon 99, 2 miles south of Cottage Grove. Trip Check reporting a crash has occurred. There's a minimum delay, so relatively newly reported crash that might cause a bit more of a delay. So if you're heading that direction, maybe just give yourself a few extra minutes just in case that does turn a bit impactful. But other than that, light to medium traffic here in the Eugene-Springfield area, and no other accidents or delays to report on Trip Check. So just give yourself a few more extra minutes if you're going down to the Cottage Grove area, and you should be okay on your Monday morning commute. Thanks, LSB. The Trump administration faces two court order deadlines to continue funding the SNAP program. Two federal judges are expected to hear from the administration today on whether it will use contingency funds to keep SNAP going for millions of Americans. Last Friday, separate rulings were handed down, ordering the Trump administration to either fund the program partially or fully for November. The USDA planned to freeze funding this month due to the government shutdown. However, the agency has a $5 billion contingency fund. Oregon's Attorney General Dan Rayfield releasing a statement on Friday saying in part, quote, SNAP is one of the most effective anti-poverty programs in our country's history. No Oregon family should have to wonder how they'll eat because of a government shutdown. These decisions are a reminder that following the law and common decency still matter, end quote.
Eating is a right that every human being has, and to use it as a weapon is disgraceful.
Willamette Farm and Food Coalition speaking out against politicizing hunger as it teams up with the Lane County Farmers Market and Lane County Bounty to help SNAP recipients. They're hosting the Fill Your Pantry event this coming Sunday, November 9th, through their SNAP Match program designed to connect locals with locally grown foods. The program already offered people shopping with SNAP a match of up to $150. But with SNAP benefits expected to see possible delays and even reductions in November, the Willamette Farm and Food Coalition says they now plan to use the money raised to give SNAP customers free food.
Now we're faced with this dilemma that people may not have any balance on their SNAP card at that time. The day of our event, no matter whether our friends have $0 or $20 on their SNAP card, we're going to be offering money for them to spend at the event that day.
The dollar amount being offered depends on how much the fundraiser brings in, and that will be announced on their newsletter tomorrow. Fill Your Pantry is happening at the Lane Events Center Agricultural Pavilion from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. for accessible shopping and from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. for general shopping. President Donald Trump continues to blame Democrats for what could become the largest government shutdown in American history. In an interview with 60 Minutes, he says all they have to do is vote to reopen it.
The Democrats keep voting against ending it. You know, they've never had this. This has happened like 18 times before. The Democrats always voted for an extension, always saying, give us an extension, we'll work it out.
The president referring to Democrats wanting an extension on Affordable Care Act subsidies, which are set to expire this year. Trump says the ACA is terrible, but if Democratic leaders vote to reopen the government, he's willing to sit down with them to fix it. The government shutdown started on October 1st. Continuing coverage on the National Guard troops in Portland, a federal judge says the Trump administration cannot deploy the troops to Portland at least until Friday. The Trump administration says the deployment is to protect federal workers and property where protests are happening or could happen. But the judge says she has not found any credible evidence that protests grew out of control before the president federalized troops earlier this fall. The ruling comes after the city and state sued to block the deployment. Some protesters say they're surprised with how long this legal battle is playing out. Others say the opposite, and some don't mind as long as the National Guard stays out.
I was pretty pessimistic about what was going to happen, and the fact that there is this much of a pushback at all is surprising to me. And I hope that pushback ends up turning into a wall. It's been going on for a while, which, to me says maybe this case is a bit harder than Trump would want it to be.
He's not going down without a fight. He likes to get his way. I think it's just going to keep going, and I don't think that we're going to stop trying to stand up for what we know is right. They can keep trying.
The judge says she will issue a final order on the issue Friday. And we're still waiting for reactions from the White House and DHS this morning, but Oregon Attorney General Dan Rayfield is praising the ruling. Put out a statement on X, reading in part, today's ruling is a step toward truth and accountability. We're grateful the court is taking the time to get it right. Governor Tina Kotek also weighing in, sending us a statement reading in part, this ruling is another affirmation of our democracy and the right to govern ourselves. Oregon stands united against this unwanted, unneeded, unconstitutional military intervention.